Hey, Bayek, it's me, Ian. And in today's video, I'm continuing my look at classic albums from my CD collection. Well, what I believe are classic albums. Not everybody would agree. But this is Real Life by Magazine from 1978. This is their debut album. You would describe it as, in terms of music, post-punk, progressive influenced album, and it's often seen in the context of that period as a very pioneering album for what the music it is producing, and its appeal is really quite into sort of prog rock areas, as well as post-punk new wave band. Fascinating group, absolutely, and that's why we'll have a look at them. Now, their next album after this is Second Hand Daylight, 1979. Now, Magazine were formed by Howard Devoto, and this came about after leaving the Buzzcocks with Pete Shelley. Devoto is part of the very first EP that Buzzcocks produced. Then he left, and they went in different directions, you can say, musically. Buzzcocks, in terms, were a big commercial success in music, whereas Magazine were not a commercial success, but did have a lot of fans who followed them, and I suppose you could argue they were very much loved by the critics as well. I think it's quite interesting. So we'll get into a bit more detail about this album. Now, it was recorded between March and April 1978, and it was released June 1978. It was recorded on Virgin Mobile and Abbey Road Studios, London. The label it's on is Virgin. Now, the producer was John Leckie. Oh, wow, what an amazing producer. These are just some of the artists that he produced. Bebop Deluxe, XTC, The Adverts, Roy Harper, Sammy Hagar, Simple Minds, The Skids, Human League, Bill Nelson's Red Noise, The Associates, The Fall, The Stone Roses, The Verb, Muse, Cast, Levelers. Wow, that is such a big collection of artists, wide ranging, and that's just a few. There's more than that, but they were just some that I mentioned. Absolutely amazing. Now the original artwork on this album is designed by Linda, with photography by Adrian Boot. The album's personnel on this is Howard Devoto, the vocals, John Magooch, guitar and saxophone, Barry Adamson, bass guitar, Dave Formula, keyboards, and Martin Jackson, the drums. I'll now list the tracks on this. Definitive Gaze is the first track written by Devoto Magoosh. Then My Chulipa, Devoto and Magoosh. And then Shot by both sides, Devoto and Shelley. So there's the old Buzzcocks link. Recoil, Devoto Magoosh. Then Burst, Devoto. Motorcade, which is a very interesting one. I like Motorcade. That is Devoto Dickinson. And then The Great Beautician in the Sky, what a title. That's Devoto Magoosh. And then The Light Pours Out of Me, Devoto Magoosh and Shelley. Wow, that one, amazing track, absolutely amazing track. The vocals on that of Devoto. And then Parade, what an ending, Parade, great track. That's Adamson and Formula. So that is the list of tracks that make up. The single, of course, was Shot by Both Sides, which wasn't a massive commercial hit. Yeah, if you look at great singles from that period listed, connected with punk new wave, Shot by Both Sides is always mentioned because it's an outstanding song. Those vocals and the guitars, and it's one that I still play so much. Just, if I'm doing one of my sort of nostalgia trips on great singles of that era, the punk new wave, Shot by Both Sides has to be in there. It is an outstanding single. But this album is amazing album, really. I can see why people call it groundbreaking. The styles and music involved. In a way, you've got the new wave punk influences mixed with art school. You could even go back to groups like Roxy Music, the style. And I think mixed with this attitude, you have Devoto's vocals, which kind of spit out. They have this great style, the way it mixes in. Devoto's vocals really are the wonderful, outstanding thing about Magazine. You can't help it. And mixed with this brilliant, Magoosh's guitars, it just works so well. They're outstanding. And I think also, you look at the keyboards by Dave Formula, they are very much intertwined with this brilliant. I mean, it is. I mean, the whole group are just playing so well together. They've got a great relationship, and that comes across. So I just love this album. I can't help but realize how good it is. Magazine as a group, they did 4 studio albums, and in 1981 disbanded. So their contribution is immense. But this debut album, I always find so ahead of its time. It feels like for 1978, it's a very special development in terms of albums for that period of time. They're on their own here. They really are, and that's why I think they got their. Now in retrospect, we see the the prog rock audience, why they would appreciate this, because there's something about this which is different, and that is something I really love about this album. And Why Magazine were such a good group for, for that period of time. Not a great 1978 to 1981 producing albums, 4 albums, is not a bad rate. So they did leave and make an impact in that period. I think it is clear as a strategy from the record company that they had to accept that they weren't going to be a single producing band. No, that wasn't their thing. Fortunately, Virgin Records would give them that support, I think. Once you accept that they're not going to do that, that's great. And they'll get the support. So, brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. And over the years, I've loved this album. I think it's the best that they did in their career. It's that moment where everything just seems to work so well. Absolutely love it. If you've not heard it, please go and have a listen. I think you'll be absolutely pleasantly surprised of how good it is now. It stands up well today, and it is a special album. I can see why it is considered pioneering. Everything about it is just class. It is a great album. And before I go, there it is. There's the actual album. Look at that wonderful CD. Fantastic. There's the back, track listing, all the stuff on there. And then inside, we've got the disc here. Nice disc. Just a more sort of plain one. Then here we've got some of the listings. Oh, these are the lyrics. Some lyrics on here. Fantastic. Yeah, it's a great, wonderful. Yeah, that's it. Hope you've enjoyed that. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and we'll let you know when I produce these videos. I do other things as well, a lot of film and TV reviews. And if you like this, then give it a like, and it gets it out onto YouTube. And if you got any comments, please put your comments down. I'll always answer your comments. Yeah, that's it really. So all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.